Well, hello, it's Mr. Dale again, and we are now in Module 3. Remember that in Module 2, we talked about third person. We talked about the simple present tense form. We also talked about comparing and contrasting. And we also learned a lot of verbs about our daily activities. The objective of this video for Module 3 is to introduce some of the vocabulary and the grammar that we will be seeing in Module 3, remembering that the title of Module 3 is Family Activities and Jobs. So in grammar, we're going to be looking at how to form yes-no questions. Here's an example. Do you have a job? Remember that when we form questions, we need the auxiliary verb do. We'll also look at frequency adverbs. Here's an example. She always takes the bus. That's a frequency adverb. And we will also revisit third person. A very quick look at some rules in how to use third person correctly. Vocabulary that we'll need in Module 3. Well, you will need to know about family members. For example, father, aunt, grandmother, brother, sister. You'll need to know occupations: pilot, nurse, barber, etc. Lots of occupations. And important, you also need to use some verbs for those occupations. For example, here are some verbs that we might use with occupations: fly, help, cut hair, etc. Here are some example sentences that we will be looking at in Module 3. For example, my father, there's a family member, is a pilot. He flies a plane. My cousin, there's another family member. My cousin is a waiter. He serves food. And then we'll also look at questions. What does your wife do at her job? Okay, so in our textbooks, we're going to be looking at questions, how to form questions correctly. But more importantly, in class, I would like to spend a lot of time just practicing that in our speaking. Here's another example of a question that we might ask in class. Where does he work? So if at home you are practicing some of these sentences, when we come to class, we're going to be better prepared to use them in sentences and also in our forming of questions. In Module 3, there are a lot of verbs that we use. I would like all of you to take a few minutes and understand what the verb means, and if you can, try to learn the verb in the past tense. In English, many of our verbs are irregular, and it makes it difficult to speak in the past tense if we haven't learned the irregular verbs. So in Module 3, we're going to start to learn some of the verbs, not only in present tense, but also in the past tense. So make sure that when you are studying your textbooks, you are learning these verbs. Okay? That concludes the objectives of Module 3. We will start looking at some of the grammar that we will be looking at in Module 3.